My name is Jennifer Coley, and my husband Charles.
Get it up high enough.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. My name is Jennifer Coley. My husband Charles and I are members here at First Baptist. We're proud parents of 3 children, 16-year-old daughter, a 14-year-old son, and an 8-year-old son. And I'm quite nervous about being here today. We finally figured out it's been 25 years since I was in debate in high school, and I think that's the last time I spoke in front of a room of people. So my 8-year-old gave me some advice. He told me I should start with a joke, and he even gave me the joke to share with you guys. So what do you call a pig playing tug of war? Pulled pork. Unlike Rob, I am not an advocate of math. I can tell you my 14-year-old comes home with math problems all the time that I cannot help him with. So I'm here to give you advice in regards to personal property. And I have to apologize. We were giggling a little bit, Diane, while you were doing your demonstration because we related so well to your portion on
65 boxes in the hallway.
Yes, yeah. My parents are both here, Art and Beverly Carnes, and they were both grew up during the Depression, and so when you were talking about collecting and privacy and patriotism, we very well related all of those. I can tell you 16-year-old girls with OCD are very helpful on checking expiration dates. She does it not only in my cabinet, but in my mother's as well. So if anyone needs to borrow her, just give me a call.
Great ministry. Yes.
Okay, so property management is typically a term that's used in regards to rentals, which is why we changed it to just property. I am not a rental manager. I am a full-time real estate agent with my husband, Charles. I'm 40 years old, and I have been doing this for 39. My parents were in the business when I was born, and I went on my first listing appointment my first year. So we've been doing this for a while. And in regards to while you're in your home, this is something that we work with a lot of people that maybe just moved into a home and we stay in touch with them or are thinking about selling in the future. In regards to repairs, I do see a lot of seniors get taken advantage of. I always recommend when you're looking at repairs to your property, always get 3 estimates. I can tell you some of the most dishonest workmen have the best words when they first come to your home. And so always get 3 estimates, always ask for references. Anything that is structural to your home, make sure it's a licensed contractor. Not just a handyman. Handymen are good with a lot of repairs. We actually have several good handymen here in the church. Things like fixing a toilet, changing out a ceiling fan. But anything structural, you're going to need a licensed contractor. Anything electrical, you need a licensed electrician. Plumbing, you need a licensed plumber. So just make sure that if you're a senior or if you work with seniors that they're doing their due diligence to not get taken advantage of down the road. Estimates and contracts, make sure you get everything in writing. Large projects, they are going to want usually a 50% deposit up front and then the rest on the end. If it's something that involves a permit, and we actually just had this happen on a home I was closing, we put on a new roof. The gentleman finished the roof and he was at the door knocking for the remainder. So I advised my customer, do not give them a penny, we need to verify that the permit's been closed. We had to fight with him to get the permit closed, and then he was paid. Had he been paid that day at the door, it would have been just an ongoing battle and we would not have had any leverage. So you can always ask for advice. There's so many people in this church, and I love the chaplain idea. It's such a wonderful idea. But there's people that will give you advice, that will help you if you have any questions, and not charge you anything at all. There's nothing wrong for asking for help. When you do decide that you're thinking about selling, that's the time my husband and I would come, or any realtor would come to your home and give you a free comparative market analysis. Just let you know what your home is worth, what comparable properties you're selling for. Sometimes you're thinking about selling because the home you're in isn't a good fit and you're looking to move to another home. Some examples of that may be if you're in a mobile home and you have to go up and down stairs and there's not room to install a ramp. We can get you into a gated community on a one-level home. I have a wonderful couple that they were living in their home off Edgewood, right up the road here. They built it in 1972, but it was a tri-level. So we moved them into a beautiful home in Pine Creek, 55 and over community. Everything's on one level, a large bathroom, so that when they reach the point they're ready, there's lots of rooms to be able to have a wheelchair, have a walker. The best time to prepare for the future is now. Don't wait until you have to make that decision and then you're rushing into a decision or someone else is making that decision for you. So I know moving and thinking about that isn't easy, but there are people to help you every step of the way. Rob actually calls me a turnkey realtor.
She is everything. She does everything.
And my husband helps them too.
Yeah.
Just to give you some examples, Leonard Barrow is a wonderful, wonderful attorney, and he actually just referred a great lady over to us. And she's 79 years old. She just lost her daughter, who is 51. Her daughter had a home that was in extreme disrepair due to her disability and also being a heavy smoker. And so they did their little estate sale that they had wanted to do. We came in, we listed the property. We heavily marketed it. I advertised it for a very fast sale with no inspections. We sold it above market value. We actually are closing it in 6 days. In this situation, I went in, and I always heavily market, but we went in full force because it was such an emotional situation for her. We wanted to get it wrapped up with as little stress on her and as quickly as possible so that she can move forward and mourn her daughter. Everything left in the estate sale, I was able to talk a buyer into just taking everything and let him deal with it at the end. We couldn't even get Salvation Army to pick up the items because it had been smoked in. So we closed this home on Friday and she can just move forward. Rob Dixon is absolutely fantastic. If you need any resources at all in regards to seniors, he's the man to call.
Or Lisa.
Or Lisa,
Yeah,
she does the same, yes. If you are in the church or out in your community and you know anyone that knows a senior that maybe has family in a different area, they're wonderful resources. When you end up in an emergency situation and you need someone to be there at that hospital to listen to what the doctors are saying, and maybe the senior's kids are in another state, renting a son and renting a daughter is the best thing they can do. I can tell you when my grandmother was in the hospital, when my daughter was in the hospital, when my parents have been in the hospital, being there all the time makes as you were saying, every difference in the world. And in regards to selling, we can help. We not only help with the marketing of the property, but we have wonderful movers that we work with. Mother's Touch Moving. I had one lady moving into the Fountains, and Mother's Touch came in. They packed everything up. They moved it into her new room. They set up her bed, and they made her bed so she was able to walk in her room and go to sleep that night. And that's the kind of stress-free moving that senior citizens need. Estate sales with several people, and there's actually one of the pastors in this church, his family owns an estate sale company. We work with Kathleen with Main Events. They'll come in, they take a percentage, but they do all the work. And then at the end, they have everything donated on your behalf.
And
So we can
Jennifer,
help with
it's
that
safe
as well.
to say, you will help coordinate everything up there. You won't just sell the home, but you'll help do all
Yes, we
that.
help every step of the way. I have a lady that walked in my office the other day and she said, my husband passed and I'm so overwhelmed. I want to move up with my daughter, but I have so much stuff. And I gave her so many options. I said, we can bring the estate lady in. You can work with her hand in hand. If that's too overwhelming, decide what you want to take. We'll get it moved up there and you can leave the rest and we'll take care of it. I don't charge at all for any of those services other than our standard sale, standard commission for selling a property. This is just stuff we do as Christians to help one another. Okay? If anyone has any questions, you can come see me afterward. Another great resource, though, when one of you were mentioning being at home and watching Jerry Springer. Troy, don't watch Jerry Springer. This church offers a program called Right Now Media. And it's on the computer and it's completely free. It's a wonderful resource. There's all kinds of books online and Bible studies and just all kinds of things you can listen to and read. And so if anyone's interested in that, I can actually just send it right to your email, or you can call the front office and they can send it to your email so you can see me about that too. Okay?
You've got a couple minutes. Just tell a story about how you work with Guardian's case managers. Just throw out an example, like the house you sold for me up in North Merritt Island.
North Merritt Island. Okay.
Yes, that was, or Rockledge. That was Rockledge. Sorry.
Yes. Okay. So Rob, when he has someone that's moved out of their home or is going to be moving out of their home, he'll call a real estate agent such as myself in. Depending on the situation, sometimes we have to have the locks changed. I call in my locksmith. Sometimes there's keys you don't know who they've gone to, or sometimes there's disgruntled family members involved. Sometimes there's family members that aren't involved until the end, and that's the worst time to get involved. And so we get the locks changed, and I stay in contact with Rob through the entire process. He's very, very non-biased. He works with people on a professional level all across the board. I have appraisers that I work with, but he won't use my appraiser. He calls in his own appraiser so that I don't have a relationship with that appraiser. He gets an appraisal done, and then he compares that to my comparative market analysis, and then we determine a price to list the property at. I love the fact that he's always protecting everybody, including the senior, most importantly the senior that he's working with. In that situation, we actually had to go in front of a judge because he was a court-appointed guardian, and we presented the value on the property. In that situation, we had our appraisal, we had all of my comps, I had everything that had sold, and we had a son from another state on the line that knew more about real estate than we did here in Florida. And so he was on the line in the courtroom with the judge presenting why he needed to inherit this house and what it was worth, and we had all the other facts. So we were able to, judge ruled in our favor, we were able to sell the property, and all that money was able to go to the senior for her care, which is where it belongs. And Rob's very good about protecting his seniors through this entire process from everyone around them.
Tell the story about the Ohio home that we're working on right now.
Oh, okay. We have a home up in Ohio. Rob called me, and anyone can do this. I only work in this area. However, I have no problem at all interviewing agents in other areas. So he called me and he says, I have a home in Ohio, what do I do? So I started interviewing agents in that area, and I not only speak to them on the phone, but I go through their listings, I see what type of photos they're posting, what type of activity they're doing, and I chose a real estate agent. He recommended that he was also an appraiser and also an estate sale.
Warning, Will Robinson. Warning,
Yes.
Will Robinson.
But learning from Rob, as I have over the years, I then interviewed another appraiser. I found an appraiser. We had an appraisal done. The two values came out pretty close, and we're putting the home on the market through the other agent up there. Rob sent me the contracts to review just to make sure everything was legitimate. And so I'm helping him on this end in the real estate because he's comfortable with our relationship, but I'm helping through the deal in Ohio.
Yeah. And Jennifer's the only type of, certainly her, but a turnkey realtor. You say, here's the keys, where do I sign, leave me alone, I've got more important things to take care of. And Jennifer and her husband, they do it all. So it's wonderful.
I will see you at the closing table.
So where are you